Qu'y a-t-il au-delà de l'univers?
Showtime, ladies and gentlemen. The beautiful orchid room of the Club Alamo is proud to announce...
என்னம்மா கண்ணு சொல்லம்மா கண்ணு
Indéchiffrable.
என் தாயின் மீது ஆணை எடுத்த சபதம் முடிப்பே
Longtemps, les autorités ont gardé l'information secrète, mais aujourd'hui ils ne peuvent plus mentir à des milliards d'individus.
Bonsoir, c'est Songs of Praise sur Aligre FM 93.1. Comme chaque lundi entre 19h30, vous écoutez Songs of Praise. Bonsoir Franck, bonsoir Nicolas. Salut à Charlie qui va réaliser l'émission et préparer la session qu'il y aura ce soir.
Bonsoir à toutes et à tous.
Bonsoir à tous et à
Et
tous.
Franck, je te propose de présenter notre invité du soir.
Et bonsoir Truus de Groot. Did I spell it, say it well?
Yeah,
How do you say it?
Truus de Groot.
Ah, Truus
I
de
don't
Groot.
don't try. It's okay. I like your pronunciation
Yeah.
better.
Welcome.
Truus qui était donc en concert à 2 reprises pendant le festival Sonic Protest. Samedi, c'était au Centre Barbara Goutte d'Or, vous avez pu l'entendre. Elle était en trio avec Toon Brasser. Non,
Yes,
what's-
Tom Brasser. Yeah.
Toon Brasser et un thérémiste qui s'appelle Jimmy
Virani.
Virani. Et ils assuraient les... Téréministes, pardon. Ils assuraient les intermèdes musicaux entre les concerts. Ils étaient placés dans le bar. Donc pour un set un petit peu étrange, exotique, etc. Avec des synthétiseurs fabriqués, du thérémine et des batteries électroniques. Et on a pu aussi entendre le duo, donc Toon avec Truus, sous le nom de Plus Instruments, qui se sont produits hier à main d'œuvre. Et donc, comme Truus était encore dans les parages, aujourd'hui, on s'est dit qu'on allait faire une émission pour revenir un peu sur son parcours musical qui a démarré à la fin des années 70 et qui est passé par des choses très post-punk avec des synthés, wave, etc., jusqu'à des choses très expérimentales, un passage vers l'exotica aussi. Voilà, plein de choses. Donc, on va parler de tout ça. Il y aura même une petite session live aussi dans l'émission.
Et on a commencé avec un morceau de Michel Wezwiz,
Ouais.
que je prononce forcément mal. Hein. C'est sur l'album qui s'appelle In Tune, qui était sorti il y a quelques années sur Sonic. Alors, bien sûr, c'est le monsieur qui était derrière le laboratoire Steim à Amsterdam, qui a fait beaucoup de choses pour l'improvisation, pour la musique électronique, pour la conception de nouvelles interfaces, et notamment le petit synthétiseur Cracklebox que l'on aime tous.
Mm.
Donc là, en fait, lui était très peu porté sur l'enregistrement, plutôt sur les improvisations et le concert, mais il y a quand même des choses qui ont été sauvées. Et donc là, on a écouté un morceau qui s'appelle Dutch Hop Ouverture, qui a été enregistré pendant une longue période, puisqu'il est indiqué sur le CD que ça a été fait entre 85 et 95.
Et d'ailleurs, Truus enchaîne après Paris et va à Steim. You go to Steim tomorrow?
Yes, I am.
What for?
I'm going to start a project with Lisbeth Esselink. She's also known as Solex.
Solex.
Yes, and we are working on a little project for songs for children that we base on regular fairy tales, but they have an unusual outcome. So we make up the outcome, and so it's kind of to teach children to think for themselves and to use their fantasy to make the story better.
Is it kind of workshop or is it like rehearsal for?
Maybe I will do a
recordings?
workshop also. We'll do something with Michelle Weisvies's widow, Christina Anderson. She works with a lot of children, so we're gonna do something together.
D'accord, donc elle va travailler avec la veuve de Michel Weiswies, c'est ça, sur des ateliers, tout un projet de disque pour enfants fait avec Solex, musicienne. What is her name, Solex?
Solex Elizabeth Esselink.
Elisabeth Esselink, avec lequel Truus travaille régulièrement.
C'est une thématique des contes de fées modifiés.
Modifiés, voilà, pour apprendre aux enfants à réfléchir par eux-mêmes.
On peut préciser à nos auditeurs qu'on a sur cette table un objet absolument magnifique.
We want to know more about this.
Oh,
What is the name?
this instrument is called a Sonos Inflecto, which I decided on.
Sonos Inflecto.
I think it means many voices, but it's based on the Crackle synthesizer, which is now its time in a museum. Or anyway, so I couldn't have it, and so I updated it, designed it to work almost like it with a few additions. It works on body, sensors, touch, and has a optical theremin, and it has filters to bend circuits, and it's a big circuits bending machine.
Alors ce magnifique objet donc, est dans une boîte en bois verni très joli, vintage. C'est une base de synthétiseur analogique avec donc des oscillateurs et une synthèse soustractive comme la Cracklebox, qui est un petit jouet quand même musical.
Qui était déjà une petite édition du Crackle synthé.
Qui se joue avec les contacts avec les doigts, et là donc elle est améliorée parce je pense qu'il y a beaucoup plus de voix et il y a un filtre, et puis c'est couplé avec un thérémine optique.
On dirait que ça sort tout droit d'une guerre imaginaire des années 30. C'est absolument magnifique.
Et je propose pendant qu'on fait les essais son avec Truss de revenir un peu. On va partir en musique, notamment avec un album sorti à la fin des années 70 qui devrait être réédité incessamment sous peu en vinyle sur le label Poutre Apparente. On va écouter le morceau Cannot.
Soft Praise sur l'YFM 93.1, en compagnie de Trousse de Groot ce soir.
Oui, qui nous a amené plein de choses, plein d'archives inédites qu'on va écouter, puis on écoutera aussi un petit peu en improvisation tout à l'heure.
Là, c'était un morceau de 1979.
Oui, donc on a écouté le premier morceau, cet extrait de l'album qui va être réédité, sur lequel on retrouve David Linton et Lee Ranaldo. Et là, c'était... What was the song we just listened?
Just Talking.
Just Talking.
Yes, I recorded it at this time in 1979 or 78 maybe, I'm not sure. And it was part of the sessions for the single that I released on Plurex. I had 3 songs on it, but not this one. So we did actually a lot of songs. And I did that with another lady, Brecht Kamphuizen.
Tout le monde a compris le nom.
So, anyway, so she played bass and sang, and I played toys, sang. Rhythm, crackle synthesizer, just whatever I could find, you know.
And that was under the name
Plus Instruments also.
When did it start, Plus Instruments?
1970, early 1979 maybe 78, but
okay.
And it's long ago.
And at the beginning it was already using strange instruments and
always.
This
always,
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started out because I didn't have much money, of course, and I just started out with toys, amplified them. I had a reel-to-reel and a couple of reel-to-reels, and so I would dub my stuff. Did solo stuff, a lot of it, and then just eventually when I met Michel Wijsvies, we can talk about that if you want.
Yeah,
okay.
Of course.
I saw him play at a venue in Eindhoven, and I was 19 or something, a young girl, and he was playing with a jazz drummer. I forgot his name, but he was a really good drummer. It was wonderful, and I couldn't believe it, how amazing. You know, I'd never seen anything like it. You know, so much energy. Michel, he was just like a machine, and so I went over there after, and I said to him, wow, I like that instrument, you know, what is it? I'm so curious. And so we started talking, and he said, well, you should give me a call, and we should talk about this, you know, because whatever. But then he called me, and he said, would you like to do a jingle for a TV show? And I was like, wow, you know, I was just a kid, and I was just impressed. Okay. And he said, come down to Amsterdam's time, and then we'll record it. And so then I got to touch the Crackle synthesizer, and we did this project. And I said, what do I do? You know, I didn't know what to do. It was all very, very new to me. So we just did the jingle, and then he said, well, I have an extra Crackle synthesizer. Would you like to take it with you?
Yeah.
I said, okay. We can borrow it for a while, and so I borrowed that, and not this one, but the Crackle synthesizer. And I started working with it with my crazy stuff at home, and it was just a perfect combination, you know.
But did you have a regular training, instrumented training? I mean, did you know how to play any instrument before?
No.
You started with this one?
I would start with anything I could.
Okay.
You know, I was always a pretty decent singer, but as far as playing instruments, I never did anything, you know, so to study or anything. I just did it.
Okay.
I was from a kind of a poor family. My family didn't encourage me to do.
Voilà, donc au début, les enregistrements sont faits avec des overdubs, des retranscriptions d'un magnéto à l'autre en ajoutant des choses.
C'est vraiment la rencontre avec Michel Wijsvies qui va être
dans un concert, et avec cet instrument étrange, le crackle synthétiseur. Et puis après, voilà, la curiosité qui a poussé à aller plus loin. Et puis, apparemment, la mise à disposition d'un des synthétiseurs qui a poussé à faire tout ça.
Maybe we can listen another song, track by you.
This is an interesting song. I lived in Hoboken for a little while in 1983, and I was on my own a lot, and I started doing the same thing, of course, there too. And this is kind of all made with synthesizer and another.
He's dead. He doesn't move. He doesn't move. Hold his wrist. Hold his wrist. Feel no pulse. Feel no pulse. He's dead. He's dead. No more alive. No more alive. No heartbeats. No heartbeats. He's dead. He's dead. Feel his wrist. Feel his wrist. No more alive. He's dead. He doesn't move. He's dead. He's dead. Hold his wrist. Hold his wrist. Feel the pulse. Feel the pulse. He's dead. Neckerman for a life, Neckerman for a life, Neckerman for a life. We can follow ourselves as we're moving along. We have seen a lot though. We may not have seen all. Panoramic views on remote worlds. Open perception doors to let our minds get chuckled. So much to see, we know there is so much to know. We know we must choose appropriate way of life, life of combining, life reducing to the core. We know we must choose. There's so much you can have it all. Too much for lifetime. Too much for lifetime. Too much for lifetime. Too much for lifetime. Neckerman for a lifetime. Factory fodder. Neckerman takes us on his knee. We got expert guys taking care of us. We got fun music day. Oh, and different things. We got a new skin. We got a blind sublime. We got a private rooms. We got plenty of things. We got to give our compliments to the staff for all the service. Time to work for some love. We got to ask them what they're owing them for that. Wish they could book me. Neckerman live for today. Just good for a lifetime. 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 Neckerman, hot like tortoise. Factory Neckerman, life is the life. Funny Neckerman, how am I gonna miss thing and die? Company and eternity.
Songs of Praise sur la YFM 93.1. Le morceau qu'on a d'écouter était vraiment extrêmement bon.
Alors,
Bravo.
on avait écouté donc pour démarrer Is Dead, un morceau de 1983, complètement inédit, enregistré par Truss, toute seule avec ses machines faites maison, les objets qu'elle avait sous la main. Et à l'instant, c'est un projet qui s'appelle NASMAC plus Instruments ou Instruments plus NASMAC. Le morceau, c'était Neckerman. Can you tell us a little bit about this strange new name for plus Instrument? Because NASMAC is part of the name?
No.
Or is collaboration? I'm a little lost with this.
Well, it's interesting because when I started NASMAC, I was too prolific. I worked too much to stick to just one band. So when I had NASMAC, immediately I started Plus Instruments. And my
NASMAC was before?
yeah,
A little bit
just
before.
a little before, but I just
Few days.
Yeah, it went side by side.
Okay.
And it was because I just couldn't stop making music. And
What was the difference between the two?
Plus Instruments is very experimental, always very experimental. NASMAC was more new wave-ish, punky, I don't know, just more songs.
And it was in a band also.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a collaborative.
Yeah, that was just me singing in a band, more in a band setting.
You
Plus
didn't play instruments?
Yes,
in
I
this?
did. I played a crackle,
Okay.
crackle in that band. I played some guitar also. But yeah.
Regular guitar?
Yeah.
Or homemade
No.
crackle guitar? No?
But no, I Plus Instruments was just mostly improvising. You know,
Okay.
nothing set. So NASMAC was we rehearsed songs and we performed.
Une regular
But
band.
Plus Instruments was just do it.
Donc elle avait en parallèle en fait les deux groupes, NASMAC étant même juste un petit peu antérieure de très peu de temps puisqu'elle était très prolifique à l'époque, mais j'ai l'impression qu'elle l'est toujours. Et NASMAC était donc dans l'air du temps quoi, en 79, donc dans des choses new wave, post-punk avec un groupe où elle chantait, faisait de la guitare et déjà elle utilisait ce synthétiseur Crackle. Et en parallèle, Plus Instrument était vraiment son projet beaucoup plus expérimental. Et donc on a écouté ce morceau de Neckerman. Il y a eu pas mal de choses. Il y a même eu des splits en fait, des 45 tours où d'un côté il y avait la face Plus Instrument et de l'autre NASMAC. There was also 7-inch split, I mean with the Plus Instrument size and NASMAC size. No, there was? No?
The 7-inch single
Yeah.
was just Plus Instruments.
Ah ok,
Yes.
d'accord.
And that came out before NASMAC, actually.
Ok.
Why that was timed that way, I don't know. Well, I guess I do know, because that is the advantage of not rehearsing so much. You just have it right away.
Yeah.
You just have your product immediately because, you know, you don't, it's an impulsive process. NASMAC was much more calculated, where we had to rehearse and spend a lot of time in the studio to record it. I just like, done, you know.
So it means live recording. It's not you don't do retakes and stuff.
It was semi-live, I think, but if it wasn't live, it was just one take. I didn't believe in doing it again and again because I didn't even know what I was doing. So I just.
But it was quite special at that time. I mean, in this new wave post-punk area to use such instruments.
Yes, it
there
was.
all other bands playing this.
No.
No, you were.
No,
So
I was
you
the only one that.
You were the strange woman using the strange instruments,
Yeah.
and everybody.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, I guess they didn't really know what it was, you know.
Yeah.
But it was interesting for Michel too, because he saw his instrument being getting another life in a different setting, and it goes very well with anything. You know, you can use it. Just there's no notes you play. There's just sound.
Yeah. Donc à l'époque, oui, c'était un peu la seule qui utilisait ce genre d'instrument dans ce contexte new wave. Et ça permettait donc à Michel, l'inventeur du synthétiseur, de le présenter d'une autre façon, de montrer que ça pouvait être incorporé dans un format pop plus normal, en fait, on va dire, et puis dans l'improvisation la plus expérimentale. What should we do? You found a track from 78, you
Yes.
said?
Yes.
On va écouter peut-être un morceau de 78, puis après on va écouter peut-être un peu de musique live. Maybe we play this song and after we will listen to you
Okay.
for a live session
Okay.
or something.
Good. Play it.
Songs of Praise sur Aligre FM 93 points. Je pense que Nicolas a apprécié le côté basse punitive de ce morceau.
Effectivement. C'est un morceau qui s'intitulait Daily Life. Vie quotidienne, qui datait de 1978. Ce qui est assez, ce qui ne laisse pas de nous laisser pantois.
Bah oui,
devant
ça
tant
c'est
de
inédit, mais
modernité.
ça va pas le rester longtemps, à mon avis. Il va y avoir des projets de réédition qui vont naître.
Il y a des poutres qui vont devenir apparents.
Oui, il y a du bimbo qui va... Enfin bon, on va voir. On va pas s'engager non plus comme ça, mais... on est toujours en compagnie de Truss de Groot, qui était donc de passage à Paris pour le festival Sonic Protest, qui semblerait va revenir très très vite, parce que, bien entendu, ça fait assez sensation, et j'ai déjà entendu parler de projets de tournée qui vont être organisés dans les mois à venir.
On peut peut-être préciser que Sonic Protest s'est terminé hier soir.
Oui, enfin moi,
plusieurs,
ça, toujours pas fait, c'est toujours des trucs à faire, hein, donc ça s'arrête.
En tout cas pour le public.
Oui, non, ça c'est fini hier soir à main d'œuvre avec un set magnifique de Alexis Malbert, Tapetronic. Voilà, non, une belle journée, une belle semaine. Bien sûr, on peut remercier, j'en profite pour remercier tous les gens qui nous aident sur le festival Sonic Protest, parce qu'il y a au moins 25 personnes qui nous donnent un coup de main à un moment donné. Et toutes les salles qui nous ont accueillis, bien sûr. Voilà, c'était une petite parenthèse.
Alors, notamment les Instants Chavirés qui n'arrêtent pas, puisqu'il y a des concerts cette semaine, qui sont peut-être même hors programme, je ne sais pas, je n'ai pas vérifié. En tout cas, on peut vous dire que demain, mardi, il y aura Ned Young de Wolf Eyes, Fred Nippy et Scott Sinclair, et Antoine Chessex.
Ouais.
Voilà. Un autre concert que je vous conseille mercredi prochain, à la cantine de Belleville, à 20h pour 5 €. Il y aura José and the Buttslugger. Voilà, avec le chanteur de Meurtre, je crois. Et puis, il y a des membres d'un groupe qu'on va vous faire découvrir bientôt qui s'appelle Casio Judiciaire. C'est un excellent groupe de punk influencé par Biffart, notamment. Et puis,
parce qu'il faut préciser qu'on va avoir une carte blanche aux Instants Chavirés dans notre soirée voilà. Le programme est encore pas défini.
Et donc, ce même soir, il y aura aussi un autre groupe qui s'appelle Y, un groupe plus progressive ambiante. Et puis, un groupe absolument imprononçable qui s'appelle Duas Emi Olcheias Invertida, un groupe de futuriste punk de Lisbonne. T'as peut-être des concerts, Franck, d'ailleurs, annoncés cette semaine.
Moi, je suis complètement là, je suis out là, je sais plus. Il y a sûrement plein de trucs à annoncer, mais il y a normalement Brian Turner la semaine prochaine dans l'émission, mais je sais pas du tout comment on va faire.
On peut peut-être d'ores et déjà annoncer Sonic Protest 2013.
Oh bon. On a déjà tout le programme. Mais non, il faut que ça reste encore secret quelques semaines.
Avec Black Flag et les Bottle Surfers.
Pourquoi pas. Truss, should you play something live? Non?
Sure.
Allez, on va écouter un petit morceau live. On ne sait pas du tout ce qui va se passer, mais allez, on y va.
there's traffic. Pardon-moi. I can play more if you want.
Let's do another one.
Sure. Okay. Let's just.
En compagnie de Truss de Groot sur Songs of Praise à l'YFM 93.1 et les chips.
Else. Merci.
Une improvisation en direct live dans les studios de Truss de Groot. You have also
it's a space ritual.
Yeah, we speak about ritual, but because you have a special project now. I mean, you have many projects, but one of the projects is this kind of new Exotica stuff, the Ritualis. I know the Ritualis CD, so it's another part of your music. But you use the same synthesizer for it.
Yes. Yes, you can utilize it any way you want to, you know.
Can you tell us about this?
Exotica?
Yeah. How did it happen? This.
Well, my husband and I, we have a website and we sell his we started selling his art on the website, Tiki Bosco. And he does Polynesian pop, as we call it. He takes the images of the designs of the original, California carvings, and he turns it into more alien creatures. Like he stretches it out and makes it into his own art, more abstract approach. And so, we're thinking like maybe we should sell music on the website. It would be nice. But then we thought, that's too complicated. So maybe I should just make my own music, Exotica. So Bosco said, well, do you want to do that? I said, sure, why not, Because I thought I could feel that too, And I always, I can see the value of an alien influence in Tiki style, Polynesian style. Like the way the Easter Island statues look, it's amazing, They look like aliens. So with that in mind, it was easy to create the music for it on my own way. So I used a lot of synthesizers I did 3 CDs. In 2000, I did Musotica. First, I released it on a cassette. Which today would be very modern, very very cool, but back then it was before the CD popularity.
Still available on your website. I see this.
And so,
for $12.
And so I did the second one, Rancho Exotica, which is pretty much, where we live in Escondido, California. And then the last one, Ritualis, I try to. It grows every time, to a different thing. But and it's
with the Mark Ryden cover.
Yes,
which is great.
Our good friend, Mark Ryden. He did that painting.
We are big fans. We are big fans.
He did the painting in our bar where we get together. We make music with musicians, and the painters Bosco and Mark and Marion, Mark's wife, they go and paint in the bar. And we have rum cocktails, so it's good. It's all good.
Where is it? So we want to go now.
It seems okay. It seems nice place.
Next radio program from Escondido.
Where is it?
Escondido, California. It's north. It's about a half-hour northeast from San Diego. It's a nice place. We have a little paradise, But to get back to the music. For the Tiki scene, they don't understand what I'm doing, because
because of the alien.
Because you're doing Tiki from outer space.
Yeah, you don't do the regular.
Yeah, there's a lot of Tiki bands in the Tiki scene, which is a bit of a scene, and they just they play Martin Denny and they play Hawaiiana. They just play as Baxter, how it was done, but.
They don't put something new in the stuff.
They're doing a tribute, and you are creating something.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's also probably what a lot of people want to hear, and it's easily identifiable. But when you get me, it's like I do just the same as I do usually, kind of repetitive. It's almost like Suicide meets Martin Denny meets Yma Sumac.
In a tiki bar.
It's in a tiki bar. So. But even Martin Denny, I mean, when you really listen to him, he had the way he played piano, a lot of really kind of grooves, repetitive grooves that he uses, and that's what I hear. Other people hear
it's the same in Suicide. So.
Something else,
Throbbing Gristle they were loving Exotica also.
I'm sorry?
Throbbing Gristle, the UK.
Yes. That's correct.
They were very much into Exotica also.
Yes, they were, and they were into it way back. It's really, that's why they're so cool,
Alors pour résumer tout ça, pour juste dire 3 mots: cocktail, île de Pâques, extraterrestre.
On peut dire aussi que on peut retrouver le travail de Bosco, donc le mari de Truss, qui est donc un artiste tiki assez reconnu. On retrouve son travail dans un bar qui a ouvert il n'y a pas si longtemps que ça. c'est le Tiki Bar, non? Je sais même pas comment ça s'appelle en fait. Mais c'est du côté de la. You know the address of the Tiki Lounge Bar in Paris, where we can see Bosco.
Yes, we sold some stuff to him. Yeah.
Belleville.
C'est du côté de Goncourt, du métro Goncourt. Voilà. Vous trouverez, enfin, il doit y avoir les informations sur Internet. Et donc, qui est vraiment un bar complètement lounge où on peut boire des cocktails et écouter de la musique exotica, etc. et voir le travail de Bosco. Oui, je pense que tout le monde a compris de quoi il s'agissait. Peut-être pas retraduire tout. Mais donc, il y a vraiment cette part dans sa discographie où ces 3 CD, enfin, ces 3 albums, parce qu'il y en a un qui est sorti en cassette, qui sont... Can we listen a little bit of this?
Exotica?
Yeah. Do you have some song in your?
Yeah.
Do you want to sing one? I don't know.
Yeah, I can prepare for that. I was going to point out that on Ritualis has a song called Firewalking, and that's a good example how electronica crosses over, because it's Michel Weisfish playing the Crackle synthesizer on that song.
Okay.
After I took the track after he died, and I was looking for an appropriate track to put over that speedy rhythm, and I asked his widow, wow, I found something that matches this perfectly, you know. It's from some kind of, I found it online somewhere, and it just goes like hand in hand. It's perfect. It's Firewalking. I don't know if you have that.
Oui. Cyril, on a le CD? On peut s'écouter?
Oui, on l'a.
Firewalking.
On le passe
It's probably the last one.
Ouais, Firewalking.
No, maybe, yeah.
Will...
It's a very short song, which gives me a chance to...
So you have time to
find it, yeah, but
oui.
It's so cool how that worked out, you know.
Ok, donc on va écouter un extrait du CD Ritualis dans lequel Truss a utilisé des sons qu'elle avait trouvés sur Internet, en fait, du crackle synthétiseur joué par Michel Weiswies. Et en fait, elle a réarrangé le morceau pour en faire un morceau exotica extraterrestre. On va écouter tout de suite ce titre dans Songs of Pride sur Aligre FM 93.1.
Thank you.
Voilà, un petit morceau Exotica de
Live singing.
en direct dans les studios. Maybe we should talk also about another project, the Salton Sea project.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
It's very much of a soundtrack for the landscape and Salton Sea in California. It's a very interesting area. It was. It used to be it used to be a big tourist attraction. It's a huge body of water in the middle of the desert. It was created by accident, or maybe not so much of an accident as an issue of greed, because in California water is very important. So they tried to divert the water to different areas, but for some reason nature got in the way and it jumped the banks of a weak thing. Anyway, so the water ran for years and years and years, and then a lake was created in the middle of the desert. And then eventually somebody had the idea to develop the whole area into a tourist destination. And in the 1950s and 60s, it became as popular as Palm Springs, or more popular. It had Rat Pack over there that it shot movies. It became Hollywood sets all around, you know. So it was really very popular. But then slowly the water started evaporating and just making the lake very salty, saline, very high saline. And the agriculture around it started polluting the water. So it became just a very bad area. So what you get is like everybody just kind of run away, and you get just a big chaos, you know.
Is it still the structure of the house and the stuff built, and it's like a ghost?
Yeah, it's like a ghost town, but people still live there. So a lot of poor people live there, and we were just fascinated by it, because when we would go into these places, we started going there in 1998. It looked like maybe some bomb went off or something. It looked like a war was there or something strange. So we were just fascinated by it. And so Bosco said, oh, you know, we got to document this, because someday it's just going to be gone. Everything's going to be gone. So we documented it for, a good 10 years. And then just a lot of pictures and film. And then eventually I thought, like, well, I should do music with it, you know, because it has a feeling. So I used a lot of the sounds from the Salton Sea. There's a geothermal energy there. It comes from the ground. So you hear...
You mean field recordings on this kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have like these geothermal plants, and you just hear a hum in the air. You're like... Very Eno, you know. And then you have little mud volcanoes. They come from the ground, and they go like... and some spew sounds and hiss, and, you know, use that. And then, you know, I put this on at the Sonos, a Crackle synthesizer, and
so it's really like another planet.
It's completely like another planet, and that was my intention to you know, create just this ambiance of weirdness, you know, because we wanted people to be able somehow to feel what was there.
Is it?
That's me. Yeah, that's just a deserted motel, I guess.
Il y a des photos de cet endroit dans le livret de l'album Ritualis.
Oui, il y a même un CD qui existe, qui est consacré au projet, qui s'appelle Salton Sink, volume 1, Salton Sea, qui est signé par donc Truus de Groot et Bosco. How do you say the name of Bosco? It's a strange name, no?
It's a Serbian name, and it's Hrnjak.
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 Ça s'écrit
But-
quand même Hrnjak.
In America, everybody says Hrnjak.
Hrnjak. D'ailleurs, on va écouter un petit bout. On va peut-être juste expliquer de quoi il s'agit.
Oui, alors,
Il
le
s'agit
projet
d'une-
Salton Sea vient d'un lieu du même nom en Californie, qui est un lac artificiel qui a été créé après des travaux d'irrigation qui ont mal tourné et qui était apparemment dans les années 50-60 un lieu touristique assez huppé où on pouvait sûrement retrouver des tournages de films avec
Yul Brynner,
Sinatra et
Dean
Sammy
Martin.
Davis Jr. et Dean Martin. Voilà, puis cet endroit, en fait, avec la pollution de l'agriculture intensive et d'autres raisons, est devenu complètement un lac salé mortel.
Déserté.
Et donc il y a une ville fantôme tout autour, avec une ambiance, avec des photos qui font penser un peu, je sais pas, aux Chroniques martiennes de Ray Bradbury, quoi.
On va écouter.
Ou au lac Baïkal.
On va écouter un petit extrait du CD.
I'd just come out here and work 2-3 hours in the morning, then I'd go home and sleep. Yeah. Then I'd come back out and in the late evening I'd work till, midnight or so and go over. Oh man, it was, we had one day here, it was, what was it, 128 I think it was? Yeah. Yeah, it was 128 one day. Yeah. I got a thermometer over there on my deck there in the shade and under the cupboard, It goes up to 120 and it broke it. Oh, we had about 3 weeks of that kind of weather. Yeah. I mean, every day. Yeah. Over 100, 112, 115, and so, 120. And then a cool wave would come in. It'd come down to 115. I took that day, one day I come out of the oven thermometer. I put it on the iron on the mill there. It was 130. I said it was 130. Right there in the sun, and that iron, there was everything. Up there about 5 years ago, there was one day it was super hot. I took the skillet, I went out back. I went to see if this piece of black plastic was put down. Put the skillet on top and left it up just a little bit, off that black plastic pulled up so it get that heat. Yeah. And let, I don't know, an hour or so, and I went out there and cracked the egg. Sizzled a little bit, and it just mellowed out, but it wasn't hot enough to really sear it and cook it. But how at low heat what it does to an egg, But it cooked it.
On a donc enchaîné 2 morceaux, un enregistré, un live, autour du projet Salton Sea de Truss de Groot et Bosco, dont je n'ai plus le nom de famille sous les yeux. Mais il s'appelle Bosco Jack. On trouve j'imagine qu'on retrouve le travail graphique de Bosco dans des revues, comment ça s'appelle, revues éditées par Williams. Where can we see Bosco artwork?
He has several websites. He does fine art, abstract art, pop art. So for his fine art, it's hernjack.com.
Voilà, on vous mettra les liens sur la playlist, hein, Nicolas.
Bien sûr. Songsofpraise.wefort.com, playlist et téléchargement de l'émission dans la semaine probablement.
We will give some links to the website on our...
Yes, and there's Bosco art, that's more his pop art. And then Tiki Bosco is his tiki art. So 3. He's a very busy man like me.
I guess we can see his art in Juxtapose or this kind of magazine, or
no,
not
Juxtapose.
So, not really.
Is very into lowbrow. Bosco is not really lowbrow. Juxtapose is very geared towards one type of art. I noticed. So no. You just have to go on a website.
Yeah. Okay, we will go.
Or if there's any very rich gallery owners, then he would love to get a show somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard a small place, Centre Pompidou.
Oh yeah, this place. They have some money problems.
Musée d'Orsay is a very small gallery, right there.
This is only for dead artists.
Oh, dead artists, yeah. Oh, we can arrange that.
On va pas traduire ça.
It's a good band name, Dead Artists.
Yeah, it's a good band
right?
name, yeah. We're the Dead Artists.
We still have 14 minutes of radio show, so if you want to play something live or
yeah,
one of your obscure
or talk
track.
about future projects.
Yes, I can certainly. Maybe we can jump to now. Maybe.
Yeah.
I can.
Let's jump.
Yeah, we jump. I can sing a song from a project that I'm working.
We're
on
not
now.
afraid of time travel, so.
I'm working on a new project, more chanteuse oriented, where I sing jazz, blues, and stuff, but it's pretty minimal. And this track is very, very minimal. But the rest of the songs, we're going to put a twist on it as far as sound goes. It's going to be treated with some very strange electronic things.
Okay.
To blend with a traditional style like jazz or blues. But the track I'm playing now is just very straightforward.
It's a project of a CD album?
Yeah, a new album which I am doing. I'm doing with Johnny Dowd. Johnny Dowd is mostly spoken word from New York, Ithaca, New York. He's going to be touring in Europe in May, I believe. And
is he playing in Paris?
No, but he should.
Certainly not.
No, he's very. He's mostly an incredible poet, I would say, but he has a very strong root in American music. But his material is full of just humor and dark humor. I hate to compare people, but he does have a little bit of the Tom Waits feel, maybe a little bit of Nick Cave, but not as serious.
Johnny Dowd?
Johnny Dowd.
Dowd. Is
W-O...
We can listen to him on the Sonic Protest compilation. You provide.
That's correct. Yeah.
Il y a un morceau en fait sur la compilation double CD Sonic Protest qui est donc sorti pour le festival où on peut entendre la voix de Johnny Dowd.
But anyway, what we did was I would do a song and I would just record it and finish it as good as I could, and I would send the tracks to him. But the tracks would be all mono and not treated, and he didn't know how loud I wanted the tracks, or so I just gave it him like food without seasoning. So he just took it and he did whatever he wanted with it, and it's a strange product, you know, because there's a big difference if you put curry on a potato or paprika. You know what I mean? There's a big difference.
So he's basically producing your song.
Yeah, basically producing, but also treating it. So I tell him you can do whatever you want. So he can cut vocals, he can cut instruments, he can double things, he can make it short, he can make it long, he can do anything. So it's two persons with complete artistic freedom, but working solo, side by side. It's very interesting to me. It's a new way of not technology allows us to do this, and it's just fascinating. You can do that now, you know, because.
So you're providing raw material, and he's doing whatever he likes.
Yeah, it just it broadens the artistic process, I think, a lot, because it's like you're working together, but you're not really working together. It's almost painting blind or something. It's really cool, you know. I'm very excited about doing
I think it's telepathic composition.
Yeah. But also because we come from very different schools. He's very rooted in American blues, jazz.
Americana.
Americana. And I'm very much rooted still with my Martin Rev school of noise and Michel Weiss.
Il y a une école Martin Rev. Je vais m'inscrire tout de suite. Reprendre les études.
It's a good combination, you
know. J'espère que tout le monde comprend l'anglais, parce qu'on n'a pas du tout le temps de traduire tout ça. Et on va écouter un morceau.
On a parlé de Johnny Doot.
Voilà, qui va un nouveau projet de collaboration où en fait Truss lui donne du matériel de base et puis lui il en fait ce qu'il veut, il rajoute. Alors lui c'est un chanteur un peu dans la tradition Tom Waits, Nick Cave, etc. Mais avec bien sûr son style propre. Il tourne en Europe en mai, on ne sait pas trop s'il va jouer à Paris. On va écouter un morceau live de Truss et puis je crois qu'on va se quitter après, donc on se dira un petit au revoir. You will play now one song? Because...
Just one moment.
On fait un petit peu de préparation là. On est en direct. Là,
you say goodbye within the song because we don't have much time left.
It's going now. Sorry about that.
He's not my type, rather unusual. Doesn't say much, or is it intentional? He makes the Monday exceptional. When I brush against him, it feels sexual. It's drawing me in. When I look into his eyes, I turn to mush. But I don't understand this unlikely crush.
Truss de Groot en direct dans l'émission Songs of Pride sur LGRFM 93.1. Vous pouvez retrouver les disques de Truss de Groot à Paris à la boutique Bimbo Tower, parce que je suis pas sûr que ce soit trouvable ailleurs. Bimbo Tower, 5 passages Saint-Antoine dans le 11e arrondissement de Paris, notamment le disque Ritualis, le dernier album de Puce Instrument qui s'appelle Dance With Me. Il y a un petit peu de version sur la cover. Et le projet Salton Sea. Voilà.
Very nice end of the world love song.
Oh, is the end?
It's the end, not
Almost.
the end of the world, but the end of the show.
At the end of the world?
Yes, because the end is in 4 minutes, so maybe we can finish with one song from your...
Oh, what would you like to hear? Wild Turkeys.
Maybe, and we will have to say bye-bye. On va remercier bien entendu Charlie Clovis pour la réalisation technique de l'émission.
La semaine prochaine, tu reçois Brian Turner de WFMU.
Je sais pas du tout comment. Si
je pense que si. si, tu vas venir avec ta fille.
Je vais venir. Alors, il y aura Lisa aussi. Avec
et voilà.
Oui.
C'est le seul concurrent qu'on a dans le monde au niveau radiophonique.
Oui, non. Brian Turner, WFMU, super. J'espère qu'il va nous faire une programmation. Enfin,
voilà.
oui.
L'émission de ce soir était sous le signe de la confrérie des vignobles rablaisiens.
Bah, c'est sympa. Thanks a lot, Truss, for the
Merci beaucoup.
The radio
It was
show.
a real pleasure.
Thank you very much.
See you soon in Paris.
Yes, I hope so.
Or in,
Because I love Paris.
or in San Diego.
Or in San Diego.
Or Berlin, or Marrakesh.
Or near the Salton Sea. For,
Dubai.
Yeah. Abu Dhabi.
Salton Sea or Escondido, my backyard. Yeah.
What should we listen for finish?
I think Wild Turkish is a good end.
Wild Turkish?
Wild Turkeys.
Allez, Wild Turkish.
They're out there.
Salut.
Turkeys, wild turkeys.